Hello everyone, welcome back, welcome live on our YouTube channel and on LinkedIn also. Today we're back with this format because I've seen that we haven't seen this topic for many weeks. So here we are, and today we'll see together how forms and fields work in magicplan. So I will give you guys a minute or two so you can join me if you would like to. And then we will see together how to fill in a field or a form if you're a project manager, if you're a field technician, for example. So maybe someone already set up those in the office and you need to find them and fill them in. Then we will see also the other scenario. So maybe you are the person in the office that needs to set up forms and fields for your field technician or technicians, depending on how many people you have that work with you. And we will see together both things. So you will be ready to work and everyone will know how to use forms and fields in magicplan. I would say that we can start grabbing my tablet. I'm gonna share my screen in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. If you guys have questions while we're live, please let me know. Also, let me know if you hear my voice good, because I can hear the voice. I can see that it's working, but you can let me know if the music is too loud, if the voice is fine, so I can still adapt the settings in case. Okay, perfect. So you see my magicplan app on my tablet, right? So you see that I have my projects. I would say that we can first take a look at this project that's already been filled in. So we can take a look at a field, for example, that has been attached or that has been created at the project level. Because if you're new to magicplan, this is the project level where we have all the project info, right? If we would go into a floor of the sketch, it's the floor plan, and into a room, it's the room level. Okay. Okay. Now here we're at the project level. Where do we find? I cannot talk today. Where do we find the field? Here. You see the little pen on this corner, right? So we tap on it, and here we have the field. I already filled in this project because I already created it and I was already on site. So here we have the project name, who is the author, the project creation date. Then you can see that we have a photo from the front view of the house. Then job number, career name. Then we have here the insurance claim number and some other information at the bottom of the form that have been filled in. Let's have a look at the same, field, not form, because what's the difference? The field, it's ready to be used. You have some information. It's normally not too long, so it's quick and easy. You fill it in. It can be attached to the project level, can be at the floor level, room level, or also more specific, it can be created for an object. So you could have a field, for example, here, if I select the dehumidifier, you see this block at the bottom. We will see together how to do it in case, no panic, but this is a field, so it's ready there. If it's a form, you would have to go into the form and open it, and then you can be very detailed. You can add as many questions and information as you need, but the field, it's more, let's say, quick, tac, right? Quick and easy. If we go into a project that's empty, so someone in the office set up the project for us, but you see we have no information. So let's imagine we arrive on site, we tap on the little pen, right? Because we want to add here the project info. And as you can see here, it's empty. Important note, it can be, of course, that someone already added the career name and insurance claim number in the office, for example. So this field could be already filled in when you are on site. Otherwise, you can fill in what is missing and what is needed. For example, here we have the project name. Okay, it's fine. The author, it's me. Date, it's today. Then we could say, okay, here case if we would like to add anything. Otherwise, we simply go ahead with the other information. Let's say here, claim detail. I will attach a front view photo from my library because I don't have the building in front of me, right? So let's say this one. Okay, save all, and we have it. We could say, okay, here we want to add the job number if it hasn't been inserted yet. So we could say 468028, right? And here career name, we could say Smith if it hasn't been filled in by the office already, right? And you can check if there's something else that needs to be filled in, or if we're happy like this, we're happy like this. So let's go back here. Other thing, if I go back into my other project, right? And I can take a look at the forms. So we know we're the technician or the project manager, we're on site, and we need to document everything because we know documentation is the key to get paid and get paid faster because we want to document all the details. So we could enter here forms, and you see that we have initial assessment, water damage. This is a form that's published at the project level. Still, the field was here under the info because it's a quick summary of the project info. The form, project level, it's here under forms. We open it, okay? And as you can see, we have more details. It can be even longer, but this is to show you guys what it would look like. So here, this has already been filled in by me. We can see it together, and then we go back to the empty project again. So we have the claim number, we have the date of loss. Is the property accessible? You can say yes or no. Property type, you can say, okay, residential, commercial, industrial. And are there previous incidents of water damages in that property? Yes or no. Then we have the water damage category, very important, 1, 2, or 3. Primary source of damage, it's a flood, it's maybe a plumbing leak, groundwater intrusion, something different. We have some photos that have been attached here, right? So you see that we have a damage. I can open one so you see it a bit wider. So here we have the water damage on this corner of the wall, right? And we have some other photos. You could say if there are any others, yes or no, and then you add your signature. So this is a form that I created as an initial assessment for any water damage. If you guys have questions, please let me know in the comments and I can get back to you, right? So you feel free to interrupt me. Someone's saying hi, Live Italy, and hi, Juicy. Okay, so if I go back to our empty project instead, and we open the form, same form that it's always at the project level, right? You can see here that we have everything empty, of course. So we could say, okay, claim number, I just write a number down. Then we could say date of loss, it's today, yes, fine, perfect. Then it's a property currently accessible, we can say yes. Then property type, let's say still residential. Are there any previous incidents of water damage in this property? We could say yes in this case. And you see there's another logic that appears that we didn't have in the other form because we say no. But if we say yes, add any additional info to point out. If you need, if you want. You see that here, there's no sign that this other, let's say, question is mandatory. So if you would like to, you can add more information. Then we have water damage category, let's say 3, black water. Then we could say here, primary source of the damage, it's a maybe a roof leak, just to take another option. Here we can add some photos. Let's upload them from my library. If you're on site, of course, you take the photos when you're there. You don't need to upload them or take them and have them in the library and then upload them. You take the photos while you're there, right? As you see in some of our videos. Okay, perfect. So here we have our photos. If everything can be left like this, okay. If you need to edit something in your photo, you simply tap on edit and you can also highlight the damaged area, or maybe if you need to hide something, redact, and you can hide information that don't need to be on the picture. Then we tap on done, save all. Okay, we have our 2 photos here. Now, next question, if you can smell anything, are there others in the area? Let's say yes, and you see here, same thing that we had up there, add a quick description. So we could say it smells like a wet dog, for example. I don't know, my testator, my tablet also wants to change the language when I type something smells like a wet dog. Okay, let's leave it like this. And we want to add the yes signature, right? So we tap on it and let's add, voila. And we could say signed by, I just write myself, okay? Sylvia, add signature. Perfect. So we have the info for the water damage. Our initial assessment has been filled in. Perfect. Now let's say that we are on site, right? So we filled in the field at the project level, the form at the project level. At some point, perhaps after we add the photos, we want to also create a sketch. So let's do a quick room. I will add a room here. Let's say since I had the photos from a garage, I will add a square room. Look for the garage. Here it is. I just maybe change the room type, the room shape a bit. So let's say here we have the corner, we position it like this. Okay, we add a door, just so we also see something here. This is perfect in case you don't have LiDAR, right? So you can still create your rooms. You just use maybe a Bluetooth laser meter and you have your measurements perfectly. Okay, now we say that we had our damage in here, right? We could add as many information as we need, of course, but what I wanted to show you is if I insert an object, let's look for the dehumidifier here, dehumidifier mobile. We position it here because we had the damage right in an area like here from the photos. We could open the info section and here we have the field that's specifically attached to the DU, so we can add the information, right? So here, for example, reading, it's today, perfect. Then we can say, okay, we can also say a time, it's also fine. Temperature, let's say we're on site, we take a look around, we take a look at the damage. Here it's 70 Fahrenheit. The relative humidity is perhaps 60%. And the running hours that are needed for the dehumidifier to do its job is 24 hours. Okay, and we save it. If we want, we can also take a photo on site. I might have a photo of a dehumidifier. I mean, this is the photo of the corner that had the damage. We can add also 2 photos if we want here. Okay, so we can attach the photo of the corner, photo of a dehumidifier, and there's also an air mover in my photo, but it's just to give you an idea. It's pretty practical if you're on site and you take the photo while you're there, right? You can also attach if you want, just since we're seeing here how to make your job easier and faster, right? If you don't want to use maybe the dehumidifier for the readings, you could also insert a moisture meter, right? So if we go here and we look for the moisture meter, just a regular one, we don't need to select a specific moisture meter. So we could take the moisture measurement where we have the damage, and here we have an automatic, let's say, field that's created for that object. So you could also use that alternatively if you want. So right, you see here, you could connect a moisture meter if you have a Trimax moisture meter, for example. I don't have one here, but you can connect it and the measurement is being reported here automatically. Otherwise, you can also type manually, okay? So here you could also say, okay, the relative humidity would say it's 60%. We can type it manually like this, okay? So just to give you a different option, okay? Perfect. So now I think that we saw everything inside the app, so you could understand the difference between levels, because I know sometimes it's difficult for you guys to understand where to find the field or the form or the information that I need to fill in. Where did the office people put it? So if they say it's at the project, it's here, somewhere here on this part. If it's a field, it's under the little pen. If it's a form, it's under forms. Otherwise, if it's inside the sketch, so you would open the sketch and you will have a form maybe here at the floor level. If it's in the room level, and if it's attached to an object, if it's a field, it's under details, and if it's a form, it's under forms. Hopefully it's super clear for you guys too. Okay, I repeated it extra to have it summed up for us all. Now, I would say, if you don't have questions about this point, I would share my other screen so you can see my magicplan cloud. If you prefer, you can also open the magicplan cloud from the tablet, but I'm doing it here on my computer, on my desktop, so it's a bit, let's say, easier for me to move around. Okay, now we have a different scenario. Let me make myself bigger so you see me. One sec. Different scenario. You are the person that's in the office and needs to set up a form or a field for your technician. Okay, so then he will be able to do what we just did together from the app and sum up all the information in a practical way, and everything will be listed and everything will be documented in the same way. It's clean and everything, it's documented right, so everyone understands the same thing. If we're in the office, we want to prepare those forms or fields. How do we do that? We're here in the main page, right? cloud.magicplan.app. We open the forms, for example. So here you can see we have the forms listed. You didn't see them all because not all of them are published, just the one that I was using. So if I enter here, you will see here, you could manage publishing, right? You could unpublish a form if you want to use a different one, or you can also publish more forms in your magicplan profile, in your workspace, so everyone will see them. But maybe it depends on what your guys are, let's say, using in that moment. I suggest not to have maybe too many forms published. You can have them created under forms. Yes, absolutely fine. You see, we have them too, but maybe publish those that are necessary in that moment, in that time. Okay, they will not disappear when they're filled in for an older project. Okay, so if we tap on edit here, for example, you see this is the exact same form that we had in the other project. Okay, and here we have the claim number, date of loss, and everything is set up how we want with the logic that we want, right? So here you could decide what should this question or this information be, how should it behave, should it be a yes no question, should it be a list, multi-select options, so you can select more options, of course, text, signature, distance, number, photo, color, date and time. You decide what it needs to be, and you can add, important, a question, an instruction, or a section, right? Because if you have a long form, you maybe want to split it in sections, so it's easier to also to have an overview and to fit it in. The other way around, this is the forms part. We're going to see it in a second. We're going to see together how to create one. In fields, or under the section fields, you will find, or you can create the fields, as many fields as you would like to. So here you see that we have the claim details, those that we filled in together in the empty project. And if you see, we tap on edit, we have all those information listed here. This is quicker, as I mentioned before. You don't have the question, the instruction, the sections that you can add. You simply add field after field, and you create your block of information that you need to see somewhere in your project. So here, if I go back, this was at the project level, applied to project, okay? If you want to go more in depth, as we saw for the dehumidifier, here you see that this is a field for a nail scrubber, and this is a field for the dehumidifier. So you will just see that field once you use and you open the info section of that specific object. So if we tap on edit, we can take a look here, and you see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields, as simple as that, so that we can really document those quick information on site, and we have them, let's say, attached to the dehumidifier directly. Okay, now if I go back to forms, we can create one together as a test so we can see, right? Because seeing the information that is already being created is fine, but then you ask yourself, okay, how do I do it from zero? Because that's the most difficult part once you don't know how to start. So let's create a form. And here we can, first of all, rename the form. Let's call it scope of work, for example. We save it, okay? Are we happy if this form will be applied to the project level? Okay. Now we could add a question, an instruction, or maybe a section. Let's add a section, and we call it claim info. We could add an instruction, okay? We could say the following fields need to be filled in. You can write mandatory, okay? Little note, under instructions, you can type whatever you need, because I know that some of you guys have also very long instructions. It's absolutely fine. Feel free to add the information that you need and that the technicians need on site. So we keep it like this, and now we add a question, okay? So here we could say claim number needs to be collected. We can also mark it as mandatory, so we will have a little sign indicating to our technician that he needs to get this information, right? So we could say, instead of text, this is a number, because our claim number is just a number. If it's something with a mix of letters and numbers, you can also select, where is it? I'm lost. Text, sorry. You can also select text, so you could add also letters in case. Now I keep it like this with number, and we add another question. Let's say that we want to have the date of loss, okay? And we say, okay, instead of text, we select date and time, so it's quicker. You have this menu popping out automatically and you fill it in very quickly. Now we want to add another question, and we can say, is the property accessible? Accessible. No, I have an I too much. I was saying it's too long. Accessible. Okay. And we can say, in this case, yes, no logic. And here, if you remember before, we saw this thing that when we said yes, there was another logic appearing. If you wanted to add more information, for example, here, it's simple. Here, add logic. So anytime that someone taps on yes, this logic will appear. The other way around, if it's another question and you need an extra logic, if someone says no, for example, is the property safe to access? And the technician says no, because maybe a piece of the roof fell down, then you would have here the additional logic. No, add why. We can add it as a next question, so you will see the difference also. But I know you guys got it. So here, it's a property accessible? Yes. Or the other way around, we could say also, we can add a logic here to say no. It makes sense. It makes more sense. So is the property accessible? No. Add any additional info. Okay. If we want this thing to be mandatory, we can also do it like this. Okay. So the technician knows he needs to let us know why and what happened. Okay. If we want, we can add a different section here. right? We have a separator, and we could say water damage info. It's just to give you an idea. I know that you probably do it in a different way also, but so you see that we have it. Okay, we have the claim info, water damage info. Let's add just one more question here, and we say water damage category, and we could say multi-select. So we could say category 1. Give me category 2, and then we have category 3. Okay. Okay, so just that we have some different options that we used as a logic for our questions, for our instructions here. Okay, now we save the changes and we want to publish this form that we created. So let's say that we want to publish it here in the same workspace where we were before. Okay, perfect. So it should be visible now also in my app. Let me take a look. Let's go back to the other screen so you can also see the same thing that I'm seeing. Is everyone happy until now, or do you guys have any questions? Let's see here. This is my other screen. Okay, so here we could open the, let's open this one, the garage that we just created together. You see here that there's a little yellow line saying workspace update available. You need to tap on apply. Otherwise, you will not see the changes that someone did in the cloud. Okay, it took a second. It's already up to date. Let's open the forms. Voila, now you see that we have the initial assessment form that we already saw before, and the scope of work one, this one that we just created a couple of minutes ago. So here you see how it looks like. This is important to me, that you see also what happened after we created it in the magicplan cloud. You have here the claim info. The instructions are fixed. So you see here, I cannot change the instructions because the office manager gave me the instructions. So I'm now, again, the project manager on site. So I have my scope of work here, information that need to be filled in. And I say, okay, claim number, and I can fill it in, right? Then date of loss. See here. Okay, it's today. Perfect. Time. It's also already selecting. Like if you need to change it, of course you can, right? So it's not fixed, but normally it takes the time that you have at the moment that you're filling it in. Is the property accessible? If we say yes, nothing happens. But since we added a different logic, if we say no, now here we have any additional info, and we have the little star, meaning for me, the technician, that I need to add an information for my boss or for the person who's in the office and then will get my project. I can say a, let me see in what language. Okay, let me check, because my tablet tries to correct my language in English and German all together. So we could also use the voice notes. Let's use this little mic. A piece of roof is missing. Actually, I wanted to say fell down, but it's okay. A piece of roof is missing. Okay. Water damage category, let's say that it's 2 in this case, and everything has been saved. You just need to go back with the arrow in the upper left corner. And if you go back, you see that everything has been saved in here. Okay. And the other form, it's still there. So if you need, as we said before, you can leave more forms public. It's fine. So here you also have the other form that has more information, as you can see here, right? Because we added them before. So it's absolutely up to you how you would like to work in this. The important thing is that it's a system that makes sense for you guys, that everyone is familiar with, and also important that you can sum up all the important information so nothing gets lost. Okay, we have a question. Let me see. Hi. Is there any indication for the technician that a form hasn't been completed, such as red and green light? Okay, normally, when you then want to export your file, let me go back to the other project that I created that has a bit more information in here. I don't apply the workspace update because I don't want to have the other form for now in here. But if I want to export a file, if something has not been filled in, for example, here, let's generate a report PDF. I probably now filled in everything. Because if you didn't fill in something that it's mandatory, you get a question asking, are you sure that you would like to proceed? Because some information is missing. Now, let me see in this other project, for example, here, if I say export report PDF, and here we go. So here, I did not fill in all the information that are, let's say, requested in here in the field, mandatory fields missing, you can see, right? So it says what is missing, something in the project details. So here, if you maybe instruct your technician and you say, look, if you get this message, go back and take a look at what is missing, because I would like to get those information that I, in the office, marked as mandatory. So it's not like a red light, but it's like a red information, if it makes sense. So it says proceed anyway. You see it sometimes in the videos that I also do with you guys, that I fill in something that's important for that video and I don't fill in all the information, of course. So I get this message saying proceed anyway, and I tap on it because I say, yes, it's fine. So if the person would say proceed anyway, it would generate the report PDF, and that mandatory information will be missing. Otherwise, you could say, okay, export, and say cancel, so you can go back, right, and check what is missing. Here a lot is missing because, of course, I didn't fill in the information. So you see, for example, here I have this mandatory info that have been left blank, right? So once you, let's say, train the field technician, maybe you can tell them, look, it would be important to fill them in. Back in time, by the way, additional note on this point, because it's important, we had a system that would, let's say, block the option to export the file if some mandatory information were missing. But we had a lot of you guys complaining that if you need to do something quick, and it's okay if some information is missing, in that case, you could not proceed unless you would fill in everything. So we deactivated that, and instead of blocking the export option, it will tell you, look, something is missing. Do you want to proceed? Or maybe you want to take a look at what you filled in the information. So you could still export your file. Nothing happens. In the report PDF, there will not be an empty information or an empty field with the missing information. Just that information will not appear. So no one would know in case. Hope it makes sense. Okay, do you guys have any other questions? Since we're still here, maybe we still have a couple of minutes. We can answer some other questions if you guys have any. Otherwise, I think that it was pretty clear. I hope that it was pretty clear. I did my best so that it makes sense for someone that never used forms or fields before. Because I know for me, something may sound logic, but for someone that never used that is not familiar yet, it's some, let's say, some walkthrough is necessary in general. Okay, I see that you guys have no more questions. I hope that it was useful. If you're watching the replay, you can also let us know in the comments if you have a doubt or if something wasn't clear to you. Otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for your time. I think here The light is decreasing here because we have some black clouds coming in, but doesn't matter. Thank you so much for your time. And as I always say at the end of our videos, depending on the time zone where you are, I wish you a beautiful morning, afternoon, or evening. Bye.